Hey guys, my name is Christina, and on this channel, you'll find videos about how you can travel and make money online and reaching your full potential. So today, I'm gonna help you figure out how to plan a lesson on Outschool. Before we jump into things, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos on this topic. All right, let's get started. Okay, so if you don't have teaching experience, remember that you don't need teaching experience to create this lesson plan, all right? You can do it. There is a simple formula, and I'm gonna walk you through it step by step in just a minute. But my advice is to just get started, okay? Just create a draft. You can always adjust it, you can tweak it afterwards. So don't get paralyzed. Don't tell yourself, I have no idea what to teach. Follow along. Listen to my instructions and just start writing your ideas down. And I promise you, it's all gonna fall into place. Okay, so today I'm gonna teach you, number one, how to get your lessons approved ASAP, and number two, how to get your parents and students excited about your class. Okay, so the very first question you wanna ask is, what is your general topic? What do you wanna teach? What are you passionate about? So if you're unsure about that, I do have a video where I talk about how to decide what to teach on Outschool. So I definitely recommend that you check that video out. Okay, the next question you want to ask is, what will your students learn in this class? So what do I want my students to know by the end of the lesson? Remember, teaching is about taking your students through from point A to point B. So this is called the lesson objective, all right? When you are writing your lesson objective, you're basically going to say something like, by the end of this class, my students will be able to think about the outcome for the student. What do they start off not knowing how to do, and what will they know how to do by the end of class? So don't just choose a topic, choose an outcome. So for example, you can say, my students will be able to bake a chocolate chip cookie by the end of class. So the purpose of the learning objective is basically to help you figure out what topics you should cover in class. All right, it's gonna help you essentially figure out what topics to focus on. Okay, so the very next thing that you wanna consider is, who is your audience? In other words, what is your ideal student? How old are they? Do they need to have previous experience about this topic before class? If so, what kind of previous experience do they need? How many students is this class designed for? How many students will you teach at one time, right? You can think about that when you are thinking about your activities. Is this a one-time class, or is this going to be an ongoing class that meets 2 times a week or 3 times a week? How long will your class be? Will the students need parent supervision? Will the students need any special materials or tools? So this is important because you want age-appropriate activities, right? You wouldn't teach calculus to a 5-year-old, right? And you also wouldn't teach the ABCs like the alphabet or how to count to high school students. Next, you want to think about, how will you structure your class? So here you want to talk about how you're thinking about approaching the lesson, right? And you're also thinking about how you want to engage and get the students excited about your lesson. You really want to answer, what are the logical steps that make sense to get the student from point A to point B? And a word of advice, don't assume anything, all right? Break every single step down. So for example, if I was teaching how to brush your teeth, you would need to lay out all the materials, right? Identify them for the student. This is what a toothbrush looks like, right? Explain, define what a toothbrush is, define what toothpaste is, right? And then you can say, you grab your toothbrush and you hold it horizontally. Everything, you would break down everything basically. Then you would push toothpaste out of the tube, right? You would squeeze on just, and explain the amount that you would squeeze out on the toothbrush. I know this sounds really silly, but you really want to think about all of the different steps, all of the logical steps, and put them in order. That's the same thing you're doing when you are creating a lesson, all right? Don't leave any steps out. Don't assume anything. Define things for the student. You may want to pretend like they're a baby, right? and they know nothing about the topic, right? You want to really break every single thing down for them. Depending on their age group, right? It has to be age appropriate. Next, you want to think about how you will teach the subject. So, will you use PowerPoints, worksheets? Will you use movement in your class? Will you sing songs? And the next question you want to think about is, what is your teaching style? So, are you someone who likes to lecture? Or do you like to have discussions with the students? Or maybe you're somebody who likes to show lots of examples or offer lots of demonstrations. If you're not sure what your teaching style is, then I suggest thinking back, to your high school days, or your college days. Think about their teaching style that you really appreciated. You always want to ensure that they are understanding the concepts and ideas that you're presenting throughout the lesson. A word of advice when you're lesson planning is to make your class fun, okay? Make it multimedia. In other words, mix in different things like slides or video clips or visuals wherever it's appropriate. So I actually have another video where I talk about how to take normal topics and make that class more fun and more interesting for Outschool. So be sure to check out that video as well. It's really gonna help you stand out as a teacher, and it's gonna in turn attract a lot more students to your class. Let's talk about the execution really quick. So remember, a teacher's attitude really affects how the student receives the class and receives the information or the topic. All right, so are you passionate about the subject you're teaching about? Are you excited about that class? Or are you speaking in a monotone voice like I'm doing right now, right? That's gonna make a difference. So just consider that when you are considering the execution portion of your lesson. So if you're able to answer these questions, then you're able to submit your lesson for approval on Outschool, because these are the questions that Outschool is going to ask you before they approve your lesson. For your convenience, I'll pull those questions up on the screen right now just so you can take a look at what it looks like when you are filling out the form to get your class approved. So then you hit submit and you'll get feedback from Outschool about whether your lesson was approved. That's it, pretty easy. It shouldn't take you more than a day or two to create these lesson plans. I know sometimes it may take me 2 or 3 days because I like to dive into the topic that I'm gonna teach and I like to do a lot of research, but in reality, like I said, shouldn't take you more than a day or two. All right, don't forget that if you are applying to Outschool and you need a mentor to help walk you through this process, you can reach out to me. All you need to do is send me an email and I will send you a whole bunch of resources to help walk you through. I also have a Facebook group that I'm gonna have you join where you're gonna receive lots and lots of support, all right? So again, all you have to do is email me and apply through my referral link, which I'm going to leave below for you guys. And just some words of encouragement, really, really, really make sure that you take action, just go for it and don't put it off. All right, guys, you can do this. All right, guys, I'll see you later.